All right, so that brings us into the next conversation, which is about Paul Mooney.
I can't stand you, motherfuckers. I just can't.
It was a joke. Well, damn shit, Paul Mooney. But yeah.
The fuck was that?
That was Fox on Radio. He was on. Yeah. He was like, I was just like them. It was a joke.
I was like,
he said, well, shit, Paul Mooney, you had us scared in here.
I was about to say, our impressions of Paul Mooney definitely don't sound like the same person.
No. Hell no. Go ahead. But yeah, so we talking about Paul Mooney. Reportedly, and here's what I found interesting too. But reportedly, Paul Mooney, and I think this came out by Richard Pryor's bodyguard.
Right, that's where it started.
Okay, yeah. Richard Pryor's bodyguard talked about how Paul Mooney used to sexually violate Richard Pryor's son, and that he said that there was going to be some action taken against that. You know, they wanted to do something to Paul Mooney, but they just decided not to.
Was that the same individual? I was looking at a Comedy Hype interview.
I think we were talking about the same one.
Right, and the dude was like, Richard Pryor wanted to put $1 million hit on him.
Oh no, I fell asleep. About 2 minutes. I was like,
I only watched short videos. So
I mean, it was a good video, but I was just sleepy. I fell asleep.
But yeah, he said.
And then, but I did see Richard Pryor's son kind of come out and talk about, like he said, basically said it did happen. His son said it happened to him.
Well, yeah, and he said, because they asked him, was there anything that happened, and he was like, well, anything that would have happened would have happened when I was underage.
Right.
And then they asked him, this was TMZ, they asked him, did he have a relationship with him? And he said, basically, a minor cannot consent to an adult relationship.
Right.
With Paul, and he was talking about with Paul Mooney. So,
hey,
what's
Max? Hey, Max, close the door.
Bust the rums.
Close the door. Close the door like you used to do. Make sure Paul Mooney ain't in there.
What?
I mean, he's standing there. What do you want from
Your impression of Paul Mooney is much better than mine. All right. But so Paul Mooney, so Richard, I mean, his son basically didn't deny it, and he said if it did happen, it would have happened when he was
a minor, unconsenting age.
And Paul Mooney canceled his shows.
Yeah, he did.
His upcoming shows. Here's the thing about it, though. There's not going to be any legal action taken because it happened so long ago.
We got the statute of limitation.
Right.
You essentially got he say, she say. Because nobody is there to corroborate it outside of these two individuals.
Nah, nobody.
And so
I don't see anything legally being able to be done about this. Not even civically, because it's like...
No. Statute of limitations for all of that.
Yeah.
We're talking about somebody who's probably in his 40s, 50s maybe.
They're talking about Richard Pryor's son?
Yeah. So if that happened when he was...
Yeah, probably in his 50s almost.
Yeah, if that happened while 20, 30 years ago, the statute of limitations for everything around that is up. So
So he's not going to see any civil... he's not going to be civilly reprimanded for it. At the same time, People's Court, Black Twitter, But here's what I found to be interesting. When you touch a small white girl, you leave the country.
Who?
Woody Allen.
Oh, okay, he left the country.
Touch a small white girl, you leave the country.
Yeah.
When you touch a small black girl, you go to prison.
Yeah.
You touch a small black boy, cancel a couple shows?
Well, you got to go to white boys first.
Oh, right. You cancel. You touch a few white boys.
You take Todd afterwards.
No, you go to prison. You go to prison.
Not the priest.
Yeah, those Catholics. A lot of those Catholic priests went to prison.
Really?
Oh, and you kill yourself.
Well,
so here's the process. Here you go. You touch a little white girl, you leave the country. You touch a little white boy, you kill yourself. You touch a black girl, you go to prison. You touch a black boy, cancel a couple shows.
Right. And
let me chill out for the weekend.
Well, yeah, when we talk about stuff like that regarding molestation among men, just like when we talk, like how we said, Common came out and talked about his experience with that. We see these, and I tell people, oftentimes it does not always have to be. It don't always have to be somebody being touched. My larger issue is what starts before that, which is the hypersexual culture that we have for children, where your children are literally, you got kids dick measuring, you got kids glorifying, like you got the way that people dance. Like if I'm at a college party and they dance in a certain way, which I'm not anymore. When I was at college parties and they danced a certain way,
for yourself.
Or out at a club and they dance in a certain way, or even if you go to Carnival and they dance a certain way, those are not experiences that your child should be taking in, because now you're seeing videos where grown women grinding on kids, and you got other grown folks out there praising.
So what you saying? Kids normalize sexuality, adult sexuality.
You got sexuality, which is a very mature thing, and sexual experiences should be a mature thing. And so when I was younger, late middle school, so we talking 13, 14 and stuff like that, and then going into high school, those were the early ages. Now what I feel like I'm seeing, especially because of social media, you got to push for kids to grow up. So now these kids are, whatever you find sexual in women or men, you're starting to push that on these kids.
Right.
Black boys look older. Black girls, you making them to look older, wear heels and makeup. So those things I have issues with.
But those issues have always been there, and I don't want us to shy away from the point of how black boys are still grossly, grotesquely underreported, undertaken serious when it comes to sexual abuses.
Right.
All right. We've talked about this on my post before. Like I lost my virginity when I was 16 years old, and the woman was 24.
Right. And I lost mine at 16, but the woman was 17.
Okay. All right.
So I feel like that's more normal than what you talking about.
Right. And, at my time, it was something to be proud of. I didn't see it as anything wrong at all. Like, you're supposed to smash an older chick that look good. Like, that was the goal.
And think about, let's not excuse when we had posts that blew up on social media, because it was, like, essentially people started coming out saying that these coaches and these teachers was smashing and dealing with... No. I'm talking about my school.
Oh, all right.
My high school. Coaches and teachers messing with students way back in the day. And so that thing turned over and blew up.
Oh, yeah?
And so much that the teacher started reaching out, like, don't delete that. Take my name out of it. Stuff like that. And what we see is, I knew guys, that would happen around a male teacher to a female student. I knew guys that these dealings was happening in high school, where the guys was messing with older women and teachers and stuff like that.
Well, shit, I mean, that was kind of a goal. If you could knock down one of the teachers,
and that's the idea we have too, because as men, we get praised for that.
Right.
But we don't understand how ill prepared we are for it.
No, that's a fact. I think, it even causes us to dehumanize ourselves.
Right. And that's where it started.
You know what I'm saying?
It started because we don't have empathy enough for ourselves to say we young. Mm-hmm. But we also get pushed to adulthood so soon.
So fast.
We get pushed to it.
You see it with, a lot of moms who grew up in single parent, who raising their child by themselves. They be like, oh, that's my young king.
No, I don't hear that. I hear that nigga need a job. My young king.
You ain't never heard of a black woman be like,
what tribal community you in?
No, they just be like, oh, he's my king.
Are you saying that in a way where this?
It's like it's endearment. It's a way of endearment.
But I'm asking, are you saying that in a way where the woman is compensating for the lack of a king?
Not even just that, but I'm just saying, like, when you place your son as your king,
right? That's
already putting him in a category of adulthood.
Well,
because it's a mentality.
Right.
It's not like he's.
So now let's tie in African culture to that.
No.
Yes, because we black, right? So if you, I don't know no.
You ain't never heard a black mom refer to her son as king?
No,
that is wild.
I done heard women say they married to their children, which I think is toxic.
You think? But I'm so really surprised you ain't seen that.
No, all these hotels.
Wow, that's crazy. I've seen that. I see it all the time. He's my young king. He's my, and the thing. I don't want to take away from the point of...
I'm flabbergasted.
And we try to make young men... I talked about this with a really good friend of mine. We in the same political group.
Okay.
That too often, too soon, we try to make young men who grow up in the house without fathers men of the house way too soon. We try to put too many emotional responsibilities on that.
Well, that's what I
boy.
was talking about when I hear people say, "Oh, I'm married to my children," in that my love and investment. I've heard that toxic shit.
Okay.
And so it's similar to what you're saying, to where, no, motherfucker, go out and find a healthy relationship and somebody that can really exemplify things that they have learned in life in a healthy manner, instead of compensating for your shitty ass relationships and experiences.
But that's going to have to cost,
putting that on your kid.
That's you're asking a woman to be accountable. That's what your basically. And
asking people to be accountable.
That woman isn't that the problem is she's not being accountable.
But I tell women all the time, if you're a single mom, one of the best things you could do for yourself and your child is find companionship.
Yeah, so healthy companionship.
Hold on, let's start with let's start with the extreme number one in cases that it applies. The best thing you can do is make sure that your child has a relationship with their father.
Yeah.
And that is a healthy relationship.
Absolutely.
If that is not possible, then number one goes to finding a positive male companion and have a healthy relationship with them. And they have a healthy relationship with your child. So now all of that can grow. Because if you don't do that, what you gonna do? Let that motherfucker that's coaching your kid run him until he get asthma attacks?
Well, I mean that's what happens. A lot of these coaches are fathers.
They have to be. Coaches. You get incremental fathering from different people.
I think that's the thing that I think a lot
that
of
nigga at the barbershop that fuck up your lining, but he give good advice.
You love sitting in this chair because
you
love
got a call center
talk about. But you know your shit gonna be crooked getting out there.
You got a call center headset on and shit. Hold on 1 second. What? It's crooked.
But that's the thing, like, I want a lot of moms out there to not stress themselves to death saying, oh, I gotta find a positive role model for my son, I gotta find a positive role model for my son. Because you don't want your son to grow up to be soft, or you don't want your son to grow up to be not be able to defend himself in the world. Your son is going to grow up to become a man regardless. And your son is going to he's going to identify himself with various men throughout his lifehood. Like you said, you find a sense of fatherhood through various men that come in and out of your life. So that's going to happen regardless, all right? So don't stress yourself with trying to find these people. The best thing I will always encourage for single mothers to be towards their black sons is to be a great example of a human being. To be a great example of what does healthy relationship with a woman look like? Right. That is essential and important. How you communicate with your son in healthy ways so that he grows up and deals with women in healthy ways, that sets the model. That is, I feel, to be important and essential.
It's a lot of things too, right? So you want to make sure you
make those lot of things small things so they can
right. But you want to make sure that you're doing what's right and not what's convenient. So taking your kids to your mama house and your brother been in and out of jail 15 times. So all that's in the house is weed, smokes, and sex magazines. Right. Unsupervision. Things like that.
Shout out to Vibe magazine.
Vibe.
King magazine.
My brother dad had all the nasty stuff.
Black Men magazine.
All the nasty stuff.
We didn't grow up with nasty magazine. I grew up with nasty DVD porno.
Oh, yeah, that was after.
Okay.
Booty talk.
Booty talk.
Booty been talking.
Booty talk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Man.
125.
Bro, I used to come home. I think I was 14. I started masturbating at 14. But I used to come home, and it was one day I looked under my mom's bed, and she was staying with her boyfriend at the time. He was staying with us. I looked under their bed, and I saw a porno tape. It was a DVD. For probably a whole month, I just whacked off to the DVD cover. But eventually, I got brave enough one day to put the actual DVD in the DVD player. Changed my whole world. I never went back.
The cover?
Oh my God, the cover, bro. Like, I would beat off the cover.
It was progress,
and then go back and put it back under the bed.
It was progress for me because I started off with. I never like jacked off the magazine.
I started off with a King Martin magazine page. In the shower, going 100 miles an hour.
But I'm trying to figure out because when you said 14, I was
14. I was definitely 14.
No, listen, but at 14,
but I had my first sexual experience way before then.
Right, but from my understanding, from my memory, if my memory serves correctly, at 14, middle school?
Yeah, that's definitely
y'all must have been broke because at 14. We had the AOL subscription in the mail.
Oh, hell
we had
internet?
We had a laptop.
Boy, we had a computer downstairs that had Microsoft Office.
Right, but we had a Office.
That was it, bro. And I'm the only one who used the computer.
But back then, we had...
To write raps.
We had Makaza and the things that downloaded movies and music. At 14.
Boy, y'all.
Because in elementary school.
I ain't never heard of no Makaza.
Yeah, it was Makaza and it was LimeWire came right after that. And
I remember LimeWire. I used to do it with my cousin.
It was another one, then it was Makaza. But
damn, y'all.
What we would do is at night we would download the
porno.
Yeah, we did because it takes so long to download.
Oh yeah, back then
that shit took 18 hours, nigga.
That shit was.
You want the whole Weezy mixtape?
Be batching for 24 hours.
400 degrees, nigga. That shit gonna take a week.
Because I got right in my bloodline.
But yeah, I never did DVDs and stuff like that. I will say this. I used to be in an environment where they used to have sex parties.
At your house?
I was in an environment. I ain't saying it was at my house. I'm saying it was an environment.
Breaking news.
Because there was a dude, shout out to Coco the Cake Man. If you know Coco the Cake Man, you real.
Hold on, this was in Atlanta or St. Louis?
This was in Atlanta.
Oh, God. All right.
It would be parties, and Coco would bake the cake with basically booty talk scenes on them.
No.
You know they
bake a cake with booty talk scenes?
Bake a cake. It would be a delicious cake.
Yeah.
And on the cake, it would be, they print stuff on there. You got your picture. It would be a booty talk scene.
No way, bro. I ain't never heard of that, bro.
Yeah, this was before Sex Pops, where they had the one shape like this. He would just print it on there.
This before Sex Pops.
And of course, my brother them go to sleep. I'm like, all right, what's that smell? So, but that's a hypersexual environment.
That is some hypersexual.
But yeah.
Fuck parties? I never knew fuck parties existed back then like that.
Right. But it was, some people, I'm in an environment, adults invite either men or women.
So hold on, did you ever hear the sex?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
We in the hood, ain't no.
So would y'all would have to go to bed first and stuff?
So what happened? I mean, I've been in different types, right?
Okay.
So one of them was, we were at somebody's house and we were in the basement with some other kids.
Yeah.
So upstairs was going down.
So y'all was like the babysitting den.
Basically.
Okay.
But that was a hypersexual environment in itself because the kids were doing sexual stuff also. Really? So we was young.
Okay.
And then there was some older kids.
Oh, okay, good.
So even downstairs, it wasn't no stripper pole. But
I just want to say, white America, this is the shit that black folks have been dealing with.
What?
And it's never made the light ever. And y'all wonder why a lot of us come out the type of way we are.
Man, white folks are way worse than us.
Yeah. But this is the type of shit that we've had to endure growing up. But it's normal.
Yeah, this was in St. Louis now, right?
Oh, okay.
They got these big poles that in your basement, they basically keep your house up.
Okay, yeah.
So you got a beam. So downstairs, it was some couches, it was a big ass TV, and the kids use this pole like almost as a stripper pole.
Okay.
Where you could just
the kids was spinning around on the pole.
Spinning around on the pole. They was playing Whitney Houston and stuff like that. And I'm like, I used to love Whitney. It was My Love Is Your Love. That's the point.
My love is your love.
But that was some sexual stuff that was going down downstairs with the kids while sex was happening upstairs.
So hold on. So the kids that would be doing sexual things, where would you be?
I'm down there looking.
Oh, right.
I wasn't participating at this point, but I'm looking.
How old were you at this point?
I was probably in elementary school. Because I was probably in elementary school. Let's call it 5th grade, maybe.
Damn.
So you sitting there, and it's some girls, some guys, and then it's some guys and some guys.
Oh, little boys and some boys?
Some little boys was like, I don't want no parts of this. So I'm sitting there like, we supposed to be...
we watching Barney.
So it was... Because this is what it was.
Supposed to be watching Sesame Street. Sesame Street.
The basement.
You got Bert and Bert over here.
So, of course, it's like you had the finished side and the unfinished side. So both sides had TVs. One side had games. The other side had music playing. So I'm in there playing Crash Bandicoot and stuff.
Crash Bandicoot.
I come out. and see some other stuff crashing.
You Bert and Ernie over there.
And some Bandicoota.
Yo, that's wild.
But when I see that, I'm like,
How did you feel about it?
I think at this point I was like, oh wow, there's stuff going on. And it was hunching. It wasn't really it was somebody went into the room. Yeah. You don't really know what's going on in the room, but out in the open, it was hunching. That way you could kind of
And this
stop.
one only commenced during the sex parties.
Yeah, well, at first.
Okay.
So we got those sex parties. Then we got the sex parties that we supposed to be asleep.
Oh, okay.
And you're in the hood, them walls thin. Ain't nobody making no thick walls for hood folks.
Facts.
So we at a townhouse. Is downstairs is the sex parties and cakes. Hella cakes and pies. And then upstairs, we supposed to be asleep, but I never like to sleep. So I go down there, hit a little peek show, see some cheeks.
Oh, upstairs?
No, I come down the stairs.
Oh, okay.
Because you got to understand that these parties, people smoking, drinking, loud
all
music.
type of noise.
You ain't going to hear, unless we upstairs running around, you ain't going to hear nobody tiptoeing downstairs.
Got you.
So what we do got is the sex party.
You never got caught peeping downstairs?
Yeah. But it was never by the adults over me. It was always by the dude.
Hey, little nigga, get your ass.
Almost really kind of giving you a nod. Like, you smashing somebody's relatives, cousins, or something like that. You like, wait a minute. Them dudes didn't care. They getting theirs.
That is funny to me.
They probably in their 20s, early 30s.
Yeah.
Having these parties and stuff like that. They ain't really caring about traumatic incidents and stuff.
That is some toxic shit.
I've been to a lot of them.
That's some toxic shit.
Unofficial shimmy shacks.
Unofficial shimmy. Like I learned about swingers and all that shit when I became an adult.
But I never had really.
Kid.
I learned about swingers as an adult in college and stuff like that.
No, you grew up around swingers.
No, it wasn't married people. It was you could call it orgies. It was smash fest. Like,
smash downs. Hold on. So all right. So when I think my first sexual encounter as a kid was I probably was like 6, and it was with the babysitter. And my babysitter
was the type of nigga that fucked
the babysitter. And she was fine. She was probably 12 years old, you know what I'm saying? Maybe 13, 14.
How old were you?
I was like 6. But you gotta think I was a big 6-year-old. I looked like I was 12. Long legs, they were little draws. Little whitey tighties on.
They look like a 1950s NBA player.
So I used to play with the baby. I remember us going in the closet one time, and she was like, "I'm gonna suck your thing." I didn't know what that meant. Really, I was like, okay. And I had these little pissy draws on. I just remember whipping my little thing out, and she bit the tip, and I ain't like it. Yeah, she bit the tip.
Oh,
yeah, because I ain't circumcised, so she would bit the tip and pull on it. So I was like, oh my god, this don't feel good.
I didn't care about either one of those two things you just said. She bit the tip, and neither one of those things I care about.
Yeah, bro, like biting on the foot long, the little foot roll up. So
keep going.
Anyway, so that was that, and then right after that, I got caught hunching one of the twins upstairs.
One of the twins?
Yeah, one of the twins upstairs in her bed.
What twins?
Oh, they were some twins that lived above us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and our parents was in there watching TV. I don't know what the fuck they was doing. And I was in the back room with the girl, and we just started hunching. She got on top of me, and they caught us, and I got my ass whooped.
Rightfully
and then right afterwards, my mom's boyfriend was out drinking beers, laughing and talking about it. And
he whooped you?
Yeah, he whooped my ass. Hell yeah.
I thought your mom whooped you.
Nah, my mom's boyfriend would. My mom used to whoop my ass too, but he was more so. He would be the ultimate enforcer. He wouldn't whoop us like that. If we got a whooping by him, we'd be like, we know we really fucked up.
Okay.
But my mom would whoop us for knick-knack shit, and plus I was really bad in school. Anyway, so that was one time I got caught hunching. Then there was another time where I didn't get caught, but my mom and them was all gone, and it was the twins. And they all got in bed with me.
And felt like a boss.
Boy, I didn't know what the hell was going on. I just know it felt good to have two girls in bed with you, hunching around, feeling on stuff. It felt really good as a kid.
I really don't feel like... So, in terms of stuff like that,
and this is the 90s, so this is when they look like Aisha. They had the hair and shit, the barrettes and shit. I was wow. They had little matching skirts.
You messing with chicks that got Just For Me in their hair.
Facts, boy.
And their mom got a shitload of gel.
Oh my God. Facts, man.
But
so I think as young black kids, we got exposed to sexual. We got pushed to adulthood a lot earlier than needed to be.
Right. And that's a lot of that came from.
That's why a lot of us are fucked up sexually.
That is. And that's why our interactions with women aren't as healthy as they should be, because so when women say, oh, why is it always about sex? That's where it started, to be honest.
That's a fact. That was the introduction to girls.
Right. Because for the most part, you in class with girls and stuff
ways.
like that, when you young at a certain point, you really kind of nurtured with your gender.
Yeah.
You get, after the little break off, you get, this is boys, this is girls, boys supposed to do this, girls supposed to do that. So it's really this dichotomy of activities that happen. And then once y'all do come together, because it happened in a traumatic way, your dealings with women ends up being a sexual one. And so once you start maneuvering through life, it's hard to break that. It's hard to break something you started with at 6 years old. For me, I was probably about 10 or 11 years old. It's very difficult to start processing things with women in that capacity and not trying to roll it back.
No, that's a fact.
And most of us don't try to find a healthy way to have interactions and relationship with the opposite sex that's platonic.
No, it wasn't. And then again, you don't deal with these things till you get into therapy and see why. Like, I still think I need to go to I am going to see a therapist, but I think I have some sort of sexual addiction. You know what I'm saying?
I told you what it was.
First off, this is a sexual rabbit. All right,
What?
He need to go to. Why you start my house? He's come over. Oh my God!
Right, but you saying back in the day, basically
back to back. Like, God damn, bro, take a break.
No, but what you have to start doing is, and I told you about this.
What?
You got to start practicing the disciplinary.
He loves
aspect.
putting me on blast, by the way. He loves having a conversation about anything, and then he'll throw me in of how the issue relates to me. I'm like, damn.
No, but this is a thing for us generally.
And that's why I flip it on him and be like, but you do.
But this is the thing for us generally in our community. We have to, we got to stop seeing women as objects to be conquered.
Fact. I actually learned that from, shout out to Juju Mama, Juju Academy. She taught me that. I went to a seminar that taught me how to not see women, even during section. It was like tantra training. She's like, how to not see women as an object, but as the subject. But go ahead.
Right. So it's that part, just trying to value women outside of sex. And then you got to start breaking down these things to make sure that you are disciplining yourself. And that's why we need discipline in the way we eat. I'm definitely a victim of that. Starting off by getting the knowledge and then moving on from there. But in the way that we eat, the way that we interact with people, the way that the time, like our expectations of people needs the discipline.
Well, could it also be that the way that we're the disposition that we have with discipline because of how we're exposed to it at a young age in such a brutal way?
Right.
Because,
so we go to the most extreme with discipline. We saying discipline look like you getting your ass whooped as opposed to you setting a schedule for something.
Yeah.
So eating incrementally, doing fasting incrementally, working out, those things require a certain level of discipline, education about too, because sometimes we think we doing the right thing, and we gonna be like, oh no, I'm just gonna stay off breads, but you eating you going to a buffet of food,
for meat, all oiled the fuck up,
right? And we got to get out of that so that we can get into the discipline aspect.
And again, discipline, which I think is, which we get trained, we get exposed to it in its extreme, is which is why it leaks into us having a lack of discipline in our adult years. Is that, again, discipline isn't you getting your ass beat or punished. Discipline really is a standard. It's really what you must uphold yourself to in order to get the result that you would desire. So that's what I think that a lot of blacks have to learn to decipher and learn to rebuild is their relationship, a healthy relationship and disposition with discipline. Not in a brutality, I'm a get you, you did something wrong, but in a, this is the standard I must have in order to get the results I desire.
Yeah. And all of us want better.
Yeah.
But when you're trying to tell, you got to understand, it's a lot of things. And we probably might do a top 5 about this.
Yeah.
The things that black people need to know and to change about themselves so that they can kind of level up. We can do a top 5 about that. Just other things that we can do around discipline in itself that will really create a better individual and probably get get you as an individual to the goals you want. Even if it's an interpersonal goal. If you discipline yourself with the way you treat people, talk to people, interact with people, your interactions might get better with them as long as they have some remnants of a healthy person inside of them.
Bingo. So in closing remarks, talking about sexual abuse, again, sexual abuse of young black boys, what I want to say is that I think that you should definitely, the problem is that the lack of humanity for black boys. We need to really honor how young men, young boys exist in this world. We need to really understand that black boys get sexualized, and just like it's like 83% of black women getting sexually molested goes on report, because most of the clients I deal with, most women I deal with, 8 out of 10 when it comes to dealing with unresolved trauma is dealing with it comes out of molestation of some sort. Right. When dealing with the men, so much of that goes unreported. I think that I've read some reports, some as high as 80%, 88%.
I wouldn't be surprised in the black community if it was about 95%. No,
I completely agree. You got to think about it. You're a little boy, you're afraid to tell for more so of, again, it's been us being pushed into adulthood a lot earlier. You don't be seen as soft or a punk.
Then you got so much that happens with us. You a soft, you a punk. You got the expectations that it's supposed to happen from. You gay.
Yeah.
Whether it
gay,
is you rejecting it, you being molested by a woman and supposed to like it, so now you gay because you don't, or you feel some sense of this is wrong, or the fact that you got molested by a man and this man has now taken advantage of you, and though you are a victim, now you gay because a part of you had that experience, even if it was forced on you.
Damn if you do, damn if you don't.
And we got these stigmas that keep us in a box, a mental box, and sometimes even a physical space that we shouldn't have to occupy because we simply don't have discussions about this.
And again, if a black man is going to feel like, if you don't give a damn about me and my experiences, why do you think I'm going to give a damn about yours?
Yeah. And that's why at times it does come down to strictly a sexual experience with women, and they can't value more because outside of their mom, and even including their mom, they don't have no women that they've really counted on, that they've really had a genuine relationship with without expectations being placed on them.
Yeah, them having to give something.
And these traumatized expectations, these are horrible expectations to have, but we still maneuver with these expectations as if it's the most healthy way to go about things.
Yeah, that's a fact. I think that also I want to add to that is that black men are, you really don't see the vulnerability of a black man until he starts drinking or starts smoking. And, he relies on some vice to bring out of him the very horrors that he keeps hidden inside, And that is very telling. And that is why black men need to be encouraged more to participate in therapy in a way that's not dehumanizing, not in a way, oh, you got a problem, you need to go see a therapist. My suggestion when I always tell black women, don't just say, especially if you got a husband or a boyfriend or a brother who needs to see therapy, don't suggest, oh, you need to go see therapy. Suggest a specific therapist. Yeah. Of how they can help them. And don't state the how of, well, when you be drinking John, and you like to swing on people, you need to go see somebody for that because you got behaviors. No, say, hey, there's a specialist that does that. I think they can help you. At least talk to them. So that's how you introduce therapy to black men, not in a way that's going to make them feel small and insignificant, because we're ego-driven. Men are still ego-driven. So you can't suggest something, and black men especially, you have to get outside of your ego in order to get to the type of growth that to be able to obtain the progression that you want in life, the progression you want in your careers, the progression you want with your wife, the progression you want with your family. You got to get outside of your ego. And for black women dealing with these black men, you got to talk, you got to speak outside of your ego.